Hi, North Olmsted teachers. I wanted to create a short video for you talking about some of the updates to Flipgrid. If you haven't tried out Flipgrid yet, it's this awesome tool that allows students to respond with video and add things to their video, take selfies. Students have a lot of fun with it, and there's so many ways that you can customize activities with Flipgrid. Since I released the training in the district modules and included Flipgrid, there's been a ton of changes to Flipgrid, and they've reorganized a bunch of their things. So all of those awesome tools are still available. They're just in different places and now called different things. Don't we love technology for its continual updating? So I'm going to do my best to walk through the basics. And if you have more questions, feel free to reach out. I am by no means a Flipgrid aficionado, so I will do my best to answer. And if I can, I will find someone who can. So starting with Flipgrid, you can sign up if you haven't done that yet. I strongly suggest just joining through your Olmsted Google account. It tends to make things easier for continual login. So we're going to head over to my account, which is set up through Google. Okay, so the first major thing to know that got updated with Flipgrid is their topics and groups. They used to have a feature called grids, and all that still is there, but they've organized it differently. So it's supposed to be a little bit more intuitive, and you're not left confused with what's a grid and what's not a grid. So here's the big overview. Groups, larger section. Think of groups like your umbrella. Groups might be by class, so you might have a group for each of your courses. Groups might be by subject. As an elementary teacher, I would probably have groups by subject, or if I had specific reading groups or some type of guided activity with students where I was meeting with small groups of students, they might have their own groups, so then I wouldn't have to constantly rearrange things. So that's up to you. You can create as many groups as you want. There are options to choose private or public. My suggestion would just be to keep this as private groups. I can custom name my groups, but you will need to make sure that they are unique because they have their own unique Flipgrid link. And then you can choose how students join the group. Personally, I happen to like the student email because then they just log in through their Google email and there's no username and password for students to monkey with. You can set up the student usernames, again, all up to you. If you do the email option, all you need to do is add @olmsted.org to your list, and then you can give students a password. So if you need to make it a little bit more lockdown, you can give the password out to students. So then every student uses the same password in order to join that group. Again, up to you. If you do the nolmsted.org, that means that a student just has to be in their nolmsted account in order to join the group. And then I can select any topic you would like to duplicate to this group. So I can take a look at topics that I already have and I can duplicate them to the group, or I can skip over that. And then I can share out the unique link to my group in Google Classroom. You can do this in one of two ways. You can copy the link here, or you can click on the Share to Google Classroom button. The difference, if you click Share to Google Classroom, it's going to auto set up your assignment, and then you would have to go back in and edit things in Classroom if you want to add more materials. If you copy the link, then you can just add that custom link right in whatever you started creating in Classroom. So once I'm in the group, you have many different options. You will be able to track the students in the group. You'll be able to add topics to this group. So think of groups like your class, and then topics like the assignment within the class. So this is, in my mind, set up very similar to how we use Google Classroom. You've got your whole class where you have all of the students in it, and then within that class you have assignments, and that's what topics are in Flipgrid. So you can add a topic at any time. You can also customize your groups. So sticking with groups for a moment, you can edit the group to choose group name. You can redo the code. You can change the access control at any time, or if you need to add a password, you can add that. You can make it hidden, so if at any point you need to turn off students' ability to interact, you can hide it. You can decide about notifications. You can personalize your group. There's a lot of fun things that you can do to make your group more engaging for students. So we're going to update the group, let it update. And then I'm going to just walk real quickly. Add co-pilots would just be co-teachers to manage that group together. There's notifications. You can duplicate it at any time. Teams integration, keep in mind that that is Microsoft's version of Google Meets. So we wouldn't have access to that. You can export data from the group and then you can delete the group at any time. So I'm going to click on the Flipgrid icon up here in the left-hand corner to go back to the main page. So you'll see right here, I have 3 groups, and maybe I need to hide my math group. I don't want them doing anything in there at the moment. Maybe the only group I'm using currently is my technology group. So beyond groups, you can create assignments within a group. So the assignments or topics, is Flipgrid calls them, is where you really create the activity that students are doing. So one of the generic activities that usually is here to begin with is the Say Hello on Flipgrid. This one is designed by Flipgrid, but I want to run through just what different options it has in it so that you understand what students can do. So students have the ability to listen to the directions read aloud. It does pull up an immersive reader that reads along with them.
Welcome to Flipgrid. Tap the green plus below to open the Flipgrid camera. Then record a short video and waving hands say hello.
It also reads the emojis for you. Students have the option to change that voice setting up there. There's reading preferences and more over here. Teachers would customize the content at the top. They would provide directions. They can add other attachments to that topic. And then they can also choose in which ways students can respond and how much they can respond to others. So let's head into trying our hand out at creating a topic. So we're going to click to add a topic. And here we're going to start with the name of our topic. We're going to call this I'm going to add the prompt. I'm going to choose how long students will have to submit. So just be mindful of this because students do take their time and they get excited about creating videos for you. So make sure you choose something that's long enough for students to fully share their idea, but yet short enough so that you are not spending your day away watching 10-minute videos from every single one of your students. There is a closed caption option. Just keep in mind that the closed captions are set for the entire topic. So if you needed to use non-English closed captions, I would strongly suggest making sure that that's something you're sharing only with those specific students. Video moderation. So there's more information here about moderation. This is where you just have to be mindful of a couple of things. The first thing is make sure you set norms for what you're expecting in Flipgrid so that you're not getting a bunch of random things or potentially things you don't really want in Flipgrid. Also keep in mind that turning video moderation on does require you to go in and approve student videos. So just be careful that when you turn on the video moderation, which I totally understand using. Sometimes we don't want our students to just post things where everyone can see potentially what they've posted before we get a chance to look through things. Just keep in mind, students do get excited about creating that video, and it's hard for them if they don't see their video show up on the board until a week later. So I know that we also have to teach our students patience with technology, that not everything comes instantaneously, but keeping in mind that that is something that's very important to students, is being able to share through Flipgrid. Down here, this media is not for media for the students. This is the media you would add. So you have many different options on things that you can add to your Flipgrid. You can record a video yourself. You can upload a video that you have. You can add video from YouTube, images, emojis. It connects with a bunch of different cool apps. If you're interested in learning about any of these apps, I could talk to you about any of them. It does connect with Google, so you can link in some Google things there. So access control, we set up access control in our group, but then we can also set up access control with our individual topics. So you can be more specific in your access control with the topic beyond what you set in the group. If we click more options down here, you have more options to add other attachments. You can decide the topic status and the schedule dates. You can schedule Flipgrids to when they start and when they stop. Then you'd also want to be mindful of your topic status. If it is hidden or frozen, students aren't going to be interacting with it. So make sure that when you want students to interact, you have that set as active. You have notifications. And then these video features are really important to pay attention to, because depending on the age group that you're working with, you may want to toggle some of these options on or off so that it is more appropriate for your students. So for example, you may only want to have a video and you don't want to have selfies. Kids love taking the selfies. It's a lot of fun. You may want to turn off comments, the view count, especially for younger students. You may want to have a discussion before you turn that on. Sticky notes while they are recording. Likes. I keep my likes turned off. Attachment links and video editing. So if you're working with littles, my suggestion would be to do selfies only or videos only until you get a handle on that, and then switch to selfies and videos. If you're working with littles, I would probably also turn off almost all of those extra video features. Again, it's up to you. Play around with it until you find the way that you would like. So the last thing is you have two ways to provide feedback to students. You can provide custom feedback, but basic feedback gives you just a quick checklist, or you can customize and add your own criteria to evaluate the student responses. And then you can also save these changes to your default settings so that you don't have to do all of these things every time. You'll notice that my Flipgrid here, it has a specific code. So if I post this code in Classroom, students will go directly to this topic. They won't have to go to the group first. Heading back out to Flipgrid here on the main grid, you'll notice that my what do you think currently is not in a group. So you don't have to create topics inside of groups, but you may find that the group just helps you keep things better organized and better managed. Again, it's up to you. So let's take a moment and see what students would see and see how the student might respond to one of our questions. Okay, so bringing this over here, we have a student signed in to Flipgrid. They went to that unique link. So this would be like the unique link that you posted in Classroom. And this is what a student would have to do in order to respond. It would automatically, if you posted the link directly to the topic instead of just to your group, it will take you to the topic question will show up here or whatever prompt you have. And then they would simply click join with Google and click their account. Pretty easy. Now here at the top above this bar, students would see whatever directions you decided to give them, whatever materials that you decided to add to this, and then they would see this pink button for record a response. So all they would need to do is click on the pink button to record a response. We're going to allow, we're going to see if it can double use my camera. Oh, perfect, it can, although I look really weirdly squashed. It's probably because I have my webcam open twice. I'm not really sure. So students would simply need to click the record. It would count down 3, 2, 1. They would be able to record whatever they need to record. If the teacher has given them options, they may have more options that appear here. There's fun filters to add. I can use a board. I can even split screen. Need to select a board first and then I can split screen. Look at how cool that is. So now on my board, I can add things to my board. I can draw right on my board while I'm recording my video. So you have that option. They can take photos and much more. You'll notice that it's counting me down at the top. 1, they would be able to record whatever they need to record. If the teacher had, so you'll notice that it then lets me review the video. And if I am not happy with my video, I can delete the clip and I can retake it. If the teacher's given me advanced options, I'll also be able to play around with my clips here. So if you remember just a moment ago, I took away all those extra options because I wanted to show you the simplest form of this. So students do that, they click next. I had this set up to take the video and then take the selfie, so it lets you take the selfie. I took my selfie rather quick. Boy, that looks rough. Okay, and then they would just put a name here. So display name, I would just have the students type the student name. And if they wanted to type a little message here, you could give them directions, but they don't even have to do this. They could just type their name and click submit. And then they would click complete. Now, they're not going to see their video here yet. You as a teacher are going to go back in and approve their video to show on this topic. So we're going to head back in so that we can see what it looks like when a student submits some work. I'm going to give it a moment to reload. Awesome. So now I can see that this student name, which they would have wanted to put their name there, has submitted a video. Now, if a student forgets to submit a video, it's okay because right up here, because they signed in with their email, it does give me the name of the student, which the name I have on this account is Instructional Technology. So I can watch their video and give them some feedback down here. I can give them a rating on these types of these 2 areas, or if I built my own custom criteria, I can give them a rating on that. I can give them feedback. This is obviously not quality feedback. I can copy the link feedback. I can email the feedback to students, or I can even record my own feedback to students. So if you're someone who likes to just put it out there in words, you can record your feedback to students. And then you have the option to edit any of the content here for their post as well. So I can see the student here. So if a student maybe didn't write their name correctly, you can go in and update any of that information that you need. So I've gone through the students. I don't need to do anything to the students because I actually left off the moderator options, so students didn't need their post approved. So I went back in and refreshed, and so now I see that selfie. And if another student were to click on that student's selfie, they would be able to see whatever they have recorded. So there is so many fun things that you can do with Flipgrid. I would encourage you to get in there, play around, see what you can find. If you have questions, let me know. If you want to take it further, they have some awesome Flipgrid certification courses that are free that you can partake in. The really cool thing about Flipgrid is they have pledged as of right now to continue to be 100% free. And so I'm really impressed with this product and the fact that being free is one of their main goals in providing this awesome resource for students. So give it a try. This is updated. It should get you through all the basics. If you find any things that I stated that didn't make sense or maybe you think are incorrect, feel free to reach out to me because I'm playing around with the new version as well. So thanks for listening.